This coming Sunday, on December 25th, of course, those of us in the Christian faith tradition will celebrate Christmas. And we remember that shortly after the birth of Jesus, he and his family had to flee the violent rage of King Herod, becoming refugees themselves as they fled to Egypt. Today, this tragic and horrific experience is being relived countless times at our southern border as families fleeing persecution, violence, and chaos are seeking to claim their legal right for asylum in the United States. They've been denied the opportunity to do this by the misguided and mistaken use of Title 42, and it is high time that this draconian policy be put to rest. Second, the people seeking asylum are not some political piñata to be battered around for one's personal and political gain. They are human beings, children of the same God of us all, and they are doing what every single one of us would do if we were faced with the same situation. They share the same dreams that we do, the chance to live their lives and raise their families in peace, security, and freedom.
Today's the second day of Hanukkah, a holiday that celebrates the freedom for each of us to be who we are, a holiday that centers around rededication to the things that matter most, a holiday that makes a point of bringing light into the darkness. It is no accident that Hanukkah takes place at the darkest time of the year, and that each night we light an additional candle, adding light to the world, showing that we can overcome even the darkest night. The Torah tells us over and over again to welcome the stranger. It's a fascinating word. The word is ger in Hebrew, which can be translated as immigrant or foreigner or migrant, and most frequently as stranger, in the sense of a newcomer among us. We welcome the stranger because as Jews, we too were strangers in a land that was not ours.
That's when I was 6 years old. I was able to make Milwaukee, Wisconsin my home and just find refuge in the city. And this is what everyone is looking for. All of our journeys, all of our ancestors who have come here have been looking for refuge. And as we think about the uptick of hate, the past 10 years of my life have been dedicated to fighting the anxiety that is on the uptick that is causing hate to so many different communities. And I've been blessed to be able to travel all across the United States and tell the story about the hate that happened on August 5th, but at the same time notice the biggest challenge continuing to face these communities and that they express is demographic shift. No matter the community that we went to, whether it was rural, whether it was urban, wherever it was in the United States, most of these communities expressed anxiety about the changing demographic, whether it was getting browner, whether it was getting blacker, whether it was becoming non-Christian. However it was changing, for many people, they felt a great worry around what their neighborhood and their lifestyle was going to look like. So please join us in telling this story, telling this in a compassionate way as we go forward in this holiday season.
This shameful policy has resulted in human rights violations at the border from asylum seekers who are mostly women and children, fleeing violence by cartels or domestic violence or violent discrimination as a protected group. Under Title 42, they have been denied their lawful right under international treaties and U.S. law for humanitarian relief. Now is the time to finally close this shameful chapter in U.S. history and reflect the aspirations and ideals of this country to welcome those fleeing poverty, persecution, and violence.
You know, it was only a couple of years ago in 2019 when we were seeing pictures of families coming over the border that were being put in metal cages, sleeping on floors on the concrete, without blankets, with lights on 24/7 in the sleeping areas. And then the terrible tragedy of children and parents being separated, some of them permanently. As I was standing here, I recalled the words that I first learned when I was probably less than 10 years old. The words of the young Jewish woman, poet, whose words are inscribed in this Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the hopeless tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. It's critical that our leaders and all Americans live up to their values, the values of their faith, the values of our nation.
But we must remember, our country was founded by individuals fleeing persecution. And that's the very reason that we have these asylum rules on our books to begin with. We call out to the American public to remind them that we are a nation of immigrants and of faith. And now is the time for all of us to live our faith. I think it's all important that we're mindful of the time of year it is right now, when many of us, over the next few days, will be celebrating at home with our families, celebrating our faith, celebrating our good fortune, while so many families are simply seeking safety. Because the United States is that star in the sky that people walk to for safety and security, hope and freedom. And that should mean something to all of us during this season of Advent and Hanukkah.